Good morning, everyone. Jer here on the 23rd of August with your Leeds news. I'm going to fly through this because it's like the 8th time I've tried to record this. I keep getting stuff wrong this morning. My head's not in the game. Burton Diaz has been linked with Leeds again this morning through Football Insider as the source. The player has said that he will not be signing a new contract with Blackburn and is out of contract at the end of this season. If Blackburn are looking to recoup any of the money they paid for Burton Diaz, this would be the way to do it, and this would be the right time. Everton, Newcastle and West Ham are also said to be interested in the player. He is rated between 25 and 30 million. No one's going to pay that for a player with 12 months left on his contract. If they all sit out the time, they can negotiate a pre-contract deal come January and get him for free transfer at the end of the season. I don't think he's a player Leeds will sign just based on the pressing that Leeds need from a striker, and that's not part of his game. The hold-up playing, linking it with other players, again, I don't think it's part of his game. He's a goal scorer, absolutely. But if he's the type of striker Leeds are looking for, I don't know. I really don't know. So you can let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you think he's a player we should be going for. Yes, he scores goals, but think about how Leeds play. I don't know. New striker linked with Leeds this morning is Kalajdzic at Stuttgart. He is a 25-year-old 6'7" striker who has scored 23 goals in 57 appearances in the Bundesliga. He has got 4 goals and 15 appearances for the Austrian national side, and at 6'7" is an absolute monster of a player. First time he has been linked with Leeds, and I think that's interesting, especially in the context of this week. Players been linked for the first time. Leeds have thrown a lot of smoke screens and cloak and dagger out there, so this is an interesting one to see. The source on this is Transfer Market, so again, pinch of salt with that one, but worth keeping an eye on. Things are also worth keeping an eye on are Christian Pulisic at Chelsea. His agent has said this morning that he expects his situation to be resolved soon, with Newcastle, Man United and Leeds all monitoring the situation. I said last week I didn't think he was a player that Leeds were interested in or going to go after. However, seeing how Leeds played the weekend against Chelsea, him having a bird's eye view from the bench, and given the amount of American players that are in the Leeds squad and an American head coach, it would be interesting to see if he would be moved. A loan to buy option is what's been linked at the moment. He's a player who wants to get as many game minutes as he can heading into the World Cup. He will be picked for the US national team whether he's playing or not, but for him to show his best in what it will be a very big World Cup for him, probably America's biggest player, one of the best players in the world, it'll be seen. So it's a big one for him. So we'll wait and see what happens there. It's an interesting situation to keep an eye on. A new player linked this morning in the defensive areas is Japhet Tanganga. The Spurs fullback has been linked with AC Milan, Newcastle and Everton as well. Anyone who's seen the Spurs documentary will know this is a very level-headed kid. He's got a really good attitude. I like him. I think he'd be a very good player to add to Leeds. He might not be the first choice, which I think is what Leeds are looking for as a backup, but he would be a good player to add into the squad. A very strong, powerful player, and AC Milan are very, very, very keen on him. So Leeds versus AC Milan all over again, possibly. And then as always, if we're linked with a player, so are Everton and so are Newcastle. So they're all in the mix as well. Moving on to our daily Willian Gnonto slot, Fabrizio Romano has stepped in today to give his opinion on it, and he said that he thinks this is a very possible move, that Leeds are still in negotiations with Zurich and his agent as well as other people. He also said, which was more interesting, that Orta and Radrizzani still want to do more in this transfer window. So as another person confirming that we are still active in this window. We all know from what was said last week, Gnonto is not the Premier League striker Leeds are looking for. He is the long-term prospect that Leeds are looking at. So they're still trying to add to the under-21 squad as well as add to the first team with players who can break through in a relatively short amount of time. He fits the demographic for what Leeds are looking for by the player just before they become the next kind of big thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Moving on to outgoings then, and Jack Harrision again linked with Newcastle this morning. Newcastle increased their bid from 17 million to 22 million pounds, way short of Leeds' valuation of him. However, the player himself has said regarding the question that he was asked when he was in Australia that he knew nothing about the link with Newcastle at that time, and the question threw him off, that he didn't mean to say what he said in terms of, add fuel to the fire of the situation. He said there is nothing happening with Newcastle. His intention is to stay at Leeds, and if anything, he wants to make a greater impact at Leeds. And I think we can all agree so far this season he's done exactly that and has been brilliant. You don't sell a player at this point of the season when you're second in the league and he has 3 assists and a goal in his first 3 games. Why would you sell him? So I don't think he's going to go anywhere, and I think we're all safe in there. Marsha said he wants him to stay at the club as well. He's too big a player right now to let go, and I don't see it happening. It would take ridiculous money. Newcastle want to pay 50-60 million for a player, fair enough, but you're not going to get him for 25. I did say a long time ago that, and based on last season, you'd probably take 20 million for Jack Harrison. He's a different player this season. He's really stepped up. So that's that one. Moving on to other players that are being linked with moves away that I don't think will happen. Dan James has been linked with a move to Tottenham, £20 million fee being touted. Sporting director Fabio Paratici is said to be the person who likes him and wants to bring him in, but 20 million is way short of Leeds' valuation of the player. You're looking 25 to 30 million before Leeds would even consider it, and Leeds would only consider it if they could get a player in of a higher calibre in the amount of time remaining in the window. Not going to happen. Don't see that happening at all. I think Dan James had a very good game on Saturday. Probably more understated, but that's a good thing. He was solid. He did his job. He worked really, really hard and was excellent. So don't think that's going to happen either. Now, in some news that's a little bit different, Leeds are apparently growing in America. Hardly surprising, but they are so popular in America right now that NBC are moving Leeds versus Brighton to the USA network, which is the main network in America, one of the biggest watched networks in America. And they are bumping Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea to Peacock, which is their on-demand service. So that's an interesting one as well. Leeds' audience in the States is growing, which is great, by the way. And I know it's because of the players and the manager, but the potential for revenue and shirt sales in the States is huge. I remember Juventus changing their kit away from their stripes a couple of years ago, specifically because of the market in America for selling shirts. Now, that would be great had we got any shirts to sell. So, and we don't currently still. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But it's great to see Leeds getting a new audience in America, and you can see it growing. Even on the internet, you can see it growing. And speaking of kits, the third kit has potentially leaked. Now, there's two floating around. One with an orange trim and a central badge just above between the B and the O on my shirt, as you can see here. And another one that looks like a pure plain carbon black or carbon grey, where the crest is directly over the straighter of the O's on the spoke top. So two kits leaking out, both grey. And one is the orange trim on it. It's very Newcastle-y looking. I don't like that one, but it's only a kit. So some people like it, some will hate it. But the images are on screen there now if you want to have a quick look at them. Let me know what you think. I think the carbon grey looks really nice. Nice to have a third kit. Our black kits a couple of years ago were my favourite ones. I'd love to see us go back to a black third kit. But that's it. Bit of news floating around this morning. Let me know in the comments what you think of all of these leaks and players that you'd like to see come in at this stage. We are getting to the point where it's going to start speeding up now. We have the Carabao Cup game on Wednesday night, and I expect once that game is out, I'd like to see a lot of movement that leads and a lot of rumour to start popping up. So we'll cut through what we believe is rumour and what we believe is fact. That's that. Finally got this one done today. Thanks for popping by, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.